final question. I think a lot of parents will resonate with this one. I had the best of intentions at keeping my kids' screen time to a minimum, but then the summer hit, and it seems like as the weeks go on, the kids are getting more and more screen time. What am I supposed to do?
Welcome to the world of parenting. I literally think every parent, especially every mom who's at home with the kids all day, really struggles with this because our children do need structure. They do, especially the older they get. They really are made to be doing things that matter. And I'm not saying just getting a job, even though that matters, but like outside playtime matters, and creating things with their environment like Legos or coloring, that matters. And so what I have found that is helpful is make a list that you agree on with your children at the beginning of summer. And it has rules, like write it out, let them see it, let them agree to it. And it should be things like there will be no screens until after 6 p.m. So don't even bother asking me if you can get on YouTube or play video games. In fact, and I always say, and if you choose to ask me before 6 p.m., the answer after 6 p.m. will be no. Because the other thing that you need to do is you've got to stave off their probably innate desire to wear you down. And so you need to de-incentivize this tendency that children have to pick until they get what they want. So if you make a decision, no screens until 6, and then say, put the burden on them. If you ask me before 6, the answer will always be no after 6. Or you could create something like, I'm going to make a list of things that need to get done during the day before you can have screen time. So 2 hours of outdoor play, 1 hour of reading, one chore around the house, one letter written to a grandparent. I mean, make a list of the things that they need to produce or execute before they can have screen time. And then again, say you can have 1 hour or you can have 2 hours throughout the day. And then you get to decide when you have those 1 or 2 hours, but it will be after you complete these tasks. Have them agree to it, right? Put it in writing. Like put it on a magnet on the refrigerator so that everybody knows. And then here's the big challenge. Do what you say. Because if you don't do what you say, if you say, well, I guess today it doesn't matter that you did reading because I really just need you to be occupied while I'm at this meeting or I have these friends over, you're toast. Like once you do not do what you say, the child learns that if I pester you, I will win. And these kinds of battles with kids, they can never win. Like I'm a children's rights activist. I think the needs of children need to come first. But one of their greatest needs is to have appropriate enforced boundaries. And you do that by being very clear about your expectations around screen time. I mean, they can't abide if they don't know what it is. That's why I'm saying make it clear, write it out, but then stick to it. Because if you don't, you are training your children to pester you and you are teaching them that they are actually in charge of these rules and not you.
Yeah, that's good. I think too, if you got to consider the alternatives that would be available. I've even heard the joke is if you come to me and say you're bored or you don't have anything to do, here's the chore list that you will be picking something off the chore list. That could mitigate some of the pestering you're talking about. But at the same time, I felt this with little kids when I go and do babysitting. And you got a long day ahead where you're kind of entertaining the kids, especially when there are rules, like you're saying, there's rules where they're not getting screen time while I'm here. They might be getting screen time when the parents are there later. And I've found it really helpful to sort of brainstorm with them. Here's the activities we're going to do today. And we're going to go to the park and have lunch. We're going to do coloring and things, or, that's for little kids, of course. For teenagers, maybe it's, you get to go to a friend's house this part of the afternoon. So we're doing chores in the morning. But I think the younger the kids, it's helpful to help structure out the day. That's probably what's really missing, right? Is you go from summer or school to summer, there's not a lot of structure. It's nice, it's relaxed, but there is a lot more downtime. Even myself, when I have downtime, might default to my screen. So it's helpful to have things to default to.
100%. Like I do love a day that is completely unscheduled, but I don't always use the time well. And so we do need to train our kids to use the time well. And one of the biggest problems with screens is even if they're just watching content that's neutral, even if they're watching content that's supposedly Christian, you're stealing children's opportunity to create and connect. And that's the priority in childhood, connecting with other people and creating things in their world. And if you miss that developmental window, you're going to have a lot of challenges as it comes to their future life. That is one of the biggest problems that we have with screens. It's not just the content. The problem is it stops children from doing things that are necessary for their development. And so it makes them passive receivers rather than active creators. So every single time your child is holding a tablet or watching a screen, it's time when they're not cutting with scissors. It's times where they're not climbing a tree. It's times where they're not laughing with their siblings or laughing with a friend. And so I just listened to an incredible interview between Jonathan Haidt and Jordan Peterson on the impact of screens and how it is absolutely overhauling childhood and stunting the development of children. So figure out the boundaries, write down the rules, hold fast, and have a great summer.